What is up, Planeswalkers? There's back with some more Magic the Gathering Arena. I do hope you guys will go to flipsidegaming.com and utilize promo code 6 for 10% off on orders over $10. It's a good deal and helps support the channel. Now today, we're going to be playing Mardu Captive Audience. Why did I name this Bane Capital? Because I thought it was funny. So, legit, this art reminded me of the football scene in The Dark Knight Rises, where Bane blows stuff up. So I was initially going to have like a bunch of like Bane stuff and do like a Bane voice. I don't really like my Bane voice, so we're just going to hop into the deck. And as you can see, this is like not adjusted properly because the deck refuses to keep it like that, so whatever. We are essentially running a control deck that utilizes Captive Audience as kind of the win condition, as well as technically potentially Banefire. That's another reason why, is because like Banefire is in the deck. I was going to do like Bane's Audience or something like that, but we are running 3 Fountain of Renewals. This card is very helpful against aggro decks where you can just really accrue that life, which will give you, a turn or two, which is all you need sometimes to stabilize your board. Also, against non-aggro decks, you will be able to sacrifice this, draw a card, which will get you further into your deck to get you the things that you need against those non-aggro decks. We are running 2 Banefires, essentially as an alternate win condition. Since we do have a decent way of getting extra mana through things like Trove of Temptation, treasure maps, and that 1 extra mana from Immortal Sun, we will be able to do Banefire for quite a bit. That said, it also just comes in as a pinch as early removal. We're using Moment of Craving as our early game removal. I amalgamated this deck from several different lists I've seen, and a lot of them are using Cast Down, but I've just found that Cast Down is not as good against aggro, and what I've been facing a lot has just been mono white and mono red aggro. It's literally been that and then gate decks, honestly. some of the worst practice games I've had, not because I lost them all, but because they were just painful. So we are running 2 Moment of Cravings. And then we are running 4 treasure maps. Card is very important for decks like these. Since we aren't running blue, we do need a way to consistently draw cards, or at least deal with the top of our deck, and treasure map allows us to do that on both halves, which is very helpful. We are running 1 Cry of the Carnarium, and this initially was at 3, and I slowly shifted away from having 3 of these into more Kaya's Wrath. And the reason for this is, since I was substituting in Moment of Craving, I no longer needed Cry of the Carnarium as much early on, compared to the ability to destroy anything with something like Kaya's Wrath and additional Cleansing Nova. So that is why Cry is at just 1 right now. However, if only I was up against heavy aggro, I would probably have much more Cry of the Carnarium. We're running 3 Mortifies. This is incredibly important against so many decks. It's removal for creatures, and it destroys enchantments. Wilderness Reclamation, even though we're going to be in best of 1 ranked, so we're not really going to... Oh, wait. No, yeah, all best of 1. We're not going to see Nexus decks, but, we still might see Wilderness Reclamation. You still see Search for Escantha, you still see Guild Summits, right? So it's just a very helpful card to get rid of stupid things. We're running 1 Profane Procession. Why are we running 1 Profane Procession? Well, as I said, we do get a decent amount of mana relatively quickly, and not only does this allow us to use it as instant speed removal once we actually untap with it, but also it allows us to have additional ways to kind of have win conditions, right? If your opponent is just slowly, you're running them out of resources, but they still you still have some creatures in a Profane Procession, eventually you'll be able to just play these creatures from them and hopefully be able to use it to kill them. We are running 2 Ixalan's Binding. It was really hard to decide between 2 and 3 of these, but I found I had a large number of things I wanted to do at 4, and I also found that since I was running against like nothing but monocolored aggro and Gates decks that didn't really run that many Planeswalkers, I didn't need the ability to hit Planeswalkers as much, but it is still important to have at least some of in the deck, so that's why I'm running 2. 2 Vraska's Contempt. It destroys creatures and Planeswalkers and gains your life. It's just good. It's a good removal spell. Trove of Temptation. Now, this card is hilariously good. You don't care if they're going to be attacking you, because you're not going to have a board anyway, like a creature presence, so they're going to be attacking you regardless. So being able to just make a treasure return is very helpful, especially when you have a flipped treasure map. This essentially is, you guarantee additional draws every turn, right? If you have double Trove and 2 flipped treasure maps, you can draw a total of like 3 cards a turn, and that is fantastic. If you add in Immortal Sun, that's 4 cards a turn, right? So being able to just really accrue this token value is very substantial. Kaya's Wrath. It destroys all creatures, and it only costs 4. The reason that this is good, even though it is technically harder to cast, is because sometimes you need to kill things on 4, and not on 5. When you do need to kill things on 5, go with Cleansing Nova. For what it's worth, you can also do the second mode, but since our deck is running a large amount of artifacts and enchantments, you pretty much never do, but, you know, sometimes you need to. We're running 2 Immortal Suns. Why? Because 1, Planeswalkers, because 2, we draw more cards, because 3, our spells will then cost less to cast, which is fantastic. Let's say we're, you know, having a tough time getting that 7th land out. If we Immortal Sun, we can then cast Star of Extinction and or Captive Audience, which is very helpful. Speaking of Star of Extinction, it destroys things. Creatures, lands, Planeswalkers, it's all good. It's all good. And then, of course, Captive Audience, our main win condition. The first thing I need to say about this card is don't play them stacked. So if you play Captive Audience one turn, don't play another one the next turn, because they can do, for example, your life total becomes 4 for both of them, right? For 1 each. And then they can do, like, discard your hand for 1 each, right? So they'll be able to nullify, right, the effectiveness of each individual card. So you do want to stagger them somewhat so you get maximum value. But typically all of these modes are going to be difficult for your opponent to deal with. They have to have a board wipe for the third one. They're going to lose their hand for the second, so they do need to have, like, a small hand by that point. Note, I should note that Captive Audience, not great against aggro, much better against mid-range and control. But and then their life total becoming 4, they could theoretically heal back, but because we have Banefire, what's really nice is if our opponent has a lot of good cards in hand, and they don't want to give us tokens because maybe they need to attack us and they don't want to give us the blocks, then a lot of times they will choose your life total becomes 4, but we have Banefires, right? So we'll be able to untap and then play Banefire for at least 5 since we played a Captive Audience, right? So that's a nice little 1-2 punch there. And for what it's worth, this doesn't go away once all 3 modes have been chosen. It just kind of sits there, which is a little unfortunate. You could theoretically add in, like, blue cards to, you know, add to some card draw, maybe some counter spells and things like that, as well as something like Blink of an Eye, which will allow you to reset your Captive Audiences. I do think that's a little difficult having a 4-color deck like that, because you really don't want to get rid of white, because white has a lot of good removal tools like Cleansing Nova and Ixalan's Binding. So anyway, this is the mana base. It's pretty, like, normal, nothing too strange. So we're just gonna hop into some decks. I think I played like technically 10 games and only won 4, but 3 of the games, was it 3 or 4? Many of the games were me trying to figure out the land count, right? So I've seen some players run 23, I've seen some players run 25, and I tried for a bit to run 23, tried for a bit to run 25. Both of those were either too much or too little, and then I settled on 24 plus an additional card to make it 61 total cards. I will keep this because of these 2 cards. Yeah. Eventually I settled on 24 with additional cards, but even then it was just too many situations where I was stuck on a certain number of lands. So I decided that I'm just going to go ahead, go to 24, and the deck has been doing better for me. It's still sometimes you get stuck on like 5 or 6, but for the most part it's fine. Now my opponent, I assume, is on mono blue control, and I don't really want to just run a treasure map into it. They could just Radical Idea here, but if they have it, if all they have is a counter, then I don't want to give them the ability. Yeah, so that's fine with me. Okay, they're on 3 now. Here I will go ahead and play out the treasure map. Yeah, I mean, I need to start using their counter spells anyway, and I would like to be able to get lands next turn, so that's good. They decided not to counter that, or they just didn't have a counter. But do they have nothing to do on their turn? Maybe they just have a lot of, like, creature removal? Ooh, missed a land. I hopefully won't. Oh, also, for those of you dying to hear my Bane impression for some reason, no, thank you. It's time for Arena's Reckoning. The fire rises and all that. That is not a land. I don't want you. I want a land. I would like a land. If you'd be so kind. That's not a land, you dirty piece of crap. Luckily, we have treasure maps. So, next turn, if nothing else, we're getting 3 treasure tokens, plus a land from this. So, that's just another reason to really like the treasure maps. Revitalize. Alright, yeah, this is just a control deck that has missed out. Let's go ahead and do this. Just missed out on lands for a bit. It's a control deck, I don't think we need Kai's Wrath. Also, I would like a land piece. If you'd be so kind. Thank you. So next turn, I can just Captive Audience. and things will be cool. This turn I can hold up Mortify. If they end up playing an enchantment, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I'd have to use a decent amount of my tokens. So I don't think I'll scry. Oh, they are Esper control. Okay. I was considering the fact that they might be Esper control. They do have 2 blue now. So part of me feels like they probably just have a counterspell. So you know what? I think I am just going to hold off on the Captive Audience for now. Is that the correct thing to do? These decks usually have a number of counterspells. I think honestly that's the correct thing to do. Is just go over them with card draw from my treasure coves. I'll take this land honestly because if nothing else, we'll be able to get to Banefire at some point. We could even start using Fountain of Renewal to draw, which I probably should have done a while ago. Go ahead and do this. Is there a reason to play this now? There might be. So if I use this now and I get Treasure Trove or whatever it is, then I could play it now and I wouldn't mind that getting countered because it's not integral to our plan. Okay, so we got an additional Captive Audience, which is very nice because that means that we have something that we can do as a follow-up if they do decide to counter. Moving things around, don't mind me. I wonder what will break first, Magless. Your deck or your spine? Yes. I've hidden the map to the bomb somewhere in the city. What am I talking about, you say? Well, I messed that sequencing up. That was technically a dumb from me, but it's fine. Look, it's another collecting Nova. We still have to use one of these. I think I'll give it a turn, right? Like, they're not doing anything either. If they play Teferi, I can blow up like this. Yeah, alright. I'm going to pass turn at least once again. I think I'm going to use Fountain of Renewal end of their turn. I can't do it now because I have 7 cards in hand. But at the end of their turn, I can use Fountain of Renewal to draw an additional card. I'm at 26. Against an Esper deck, I don't really think I need that much life total. Wait. How am I just now seeing that they still have 57 cards left in their deck? Okay, so they have 8 cards in hand. That's 9. Plus an additional 5. That's 14. What? What? Did he actually start with a Singleton deck? Was he playing Esper and Singleton and just forgot? Magnus, you confuse me. With your strange deck, do you feel in charge? I am the one in charge. I'm very confused, Magnus. Alright, well, gonna go ahead and Captive Audience, I guess. One thing that the deck really likes to do, the Auto Tapper. So the Auto Tapper is better about things. I fudged so many things up there. There we go. The Auto Tapper is better about... There we go. Is better about some things, but not better about others. So, for example, if you run Gift of Paradise and you want to put it on a specific land, you can actually, like, just let auto tap happen, and you can target a land, and that land that's getting targeted with Gift of Paradise, unless, like, you only have 3 lands or something, it won't get tapped. So that's a really cool thing. So if you have 4 lands, and only one of them's basic, right, but you have a green source somewhere else, then you can just play the Gift of Paradise fine, target the green land, even though they highlight the green land at first. Hieromancer's Cage. I assume on this. Well, I'm sorry for you. What that means is that you're going to get a nice Mortify on this, and you're going to have to deal with this again. Also, they're going to take 10 here, so... Oh, wait, are they just dead? They go down to 13. Oh, yeah, they were dead. They were just dead to Banefire. Cool. My opponent, for what it's worth, did have a strange deck. I don't entirely know what was going on there, but I hope it didn't factor in too much. The topless 90. This is okay. I need one more land to get Trove out. If this is a super aggressive deck, then I'm going to be a little hard pressed. But I am going first, which is nice. And there are plenty of things in my deck which can't hit. What the fudge? Did anyone hear the screaming in the background? Is that because of this card just in my hand? Okay, it's aggro. Okay, we have at least enough land to play Trove on 4, which means we can play Nova on 5. The question is, are we dead before then? Hopefully not. I'd like to not die. Dawn's Bodyguard's unfortunate. Looks like they're going to take, yep, target Healing Hawk. Crowd the Carnarium is a good draw. Is that my cat? Or is it screaming? I can't tell. Fountain of Renewal, totally fine. Very helpful here. So next turn we can Trove. This will flip. That flipping is actually more unnerving than otherwise. Because they could flip this and then be able to play a Banalish Marshal. Or, Carnarium, for what it's worth, would still be good. Okay, Hunted Witness. Carnarium still fine against. Oh, it's the cat. Cat, I will pet you after I'm done recording. Abigail's on holiday, so she left the cat to me. And she usually spends a lot of the time with the cat. But I don't like cats. I'm a dog person. I'm a dog and, like, reptile. I'm pretty much an anything that isn't a cat person. Okay, captive audience. That's fine. I'm going to take some lumps. 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so this is still a little bit away from being able to do anything. So next turn, no matter what, I can Cleansing Nova. They'll be left with a Hunted Witness and a Healer's Hawk. But next turn I'm taking 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 damage minimum. Although 5 damage isn't that much considering I Fountain of Renewal. It could be up to, let's see, if they play a land, that's 4, and then Banalish Marshal. Oh, good, okay. So, like, the worst case scenario was land Banalish Marshal, because that would pump all of their creatures by 1, and then their Snubhorn would also get 3. So that's an interesting play. Why did they do that? I don't have mana open. Why did? Huh. I think they're gonna like Snubhorn, sure. I was gonna say I think they're trying to exile this with an enchantment, but they could have played this before and gotten, yeah, I'm very confused. But that said, we're going to go and blow up the world. Oh no. I've been seeing some mono white decks play like Make a Stand and stuff. If this person is playing Make a Stand, I am sad. Okay, it looked like they're sacking Dauntless, so okay, cool. Whew. So that's fine. So they're gonna have two creatures. Yeah, just 2, yeah. I'm, gaining life with this. I'm still getting cards with this. Healer's Hawk, sure. If I draw a land, I'll be on, what, 6 mana? And I could Immortal Sun? Making it so I can star the following turn? Okay, Snubhorn Sentry, sure. This is, a decent amount of mana. Mortify is helpful, actually. Mortify gets rid of this. And it allows me next turn, yeah, so 4, 5, 6. So next turn, if I have a land, I can just star this. So yeah, I think I will just pass and Mortify this. Yeah. Playing around Cellular Wreckage. Cool. Could I have saved the Mortify knowing that I was only taking 4 there? Yes, I could, but I don't like the burst potential that's inherent with these styles of deck, so I wanted to maximize my safety, especially considering we should be fine. Wow, I mean, this really shows the power of Temptation, right? Like, without this card, I'd be, like, super screwed. So do I play this? Yes, I think I play the Immortal Sun first instead of Treasure Map. And the reason being is that it draws us additional cards, which makes it more likely that we're going to be able to go ahead and draw lands, which is what we need. As I said, even with 24, you know, we still do get stuck on 4 from time to time, but Trove helps a lot with that. Immortal Sun helps a lot with that. So I'm going to be taking 4 going to 9. That's fine. Sure. Yeah, so if we can get a land, then we can go and Star of Extinction this. Do we even need a land? Yeah, no, we do. That's not a land. That's not a land, but it is a Wrath, so this does work. Am I gonna play a treasure map? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. No, next I don't have 6, so I'm just gonna keep up Star and Captive. The treasure map's not as important. The Fountain of Renewal should essentially mean this is a game at this point. Sure, that's fine. So let's see if my opponent plays anything interesting. Let's see if they commit another card to the board. I assume they won't. But I'm going to go ahead and Adanto, or blow up Adanto, I should say. And we should be good. Do I want to take 2 in order to save one of my treasure tokens? Honestly, no. No, I don't. The tokens are a dime a dozen. Throw blue in there for some BM. We all know blue is the strongest color in Magic the Gathering. Alright, cool. Whew, fantastic. I think that really shows the power of the Trove. Alright, let's get another game in. I've won, I think, 1 game against Gates and lost 2. One of the losses, though, was due to just extreme mana flood when my opponent was ramping the crap out of the game. My win was because essentially I just, like, curved properly and I had Mortifies for their things. And then one loss, I got them down to 5 cards in the deck. One of their last cards was Expansion Explosion. They were playing it as a 1-of. I assume it was a 1-of, unless they were super unlucky and had all of them in the bottom. And, well, I kind of died. Llanowar Elves. Okay. If I could, I would Moment of Craving that now. This could be Elf Ball. That is a deck that I'm trying to make as well. Based on the fact that it could just be mono green. It's not an elf right now. So it looks like it could just be mono green, like normal Stompy style thing. Cry of the Carnarium is going to come in handy. So I have no real reason to play Moment of Craving just yet. I do kind of need an additional white source to make sure I can Cleansing Nova at some point. But for right now, I'm totally fine just using Cry. They could play something like a Steel Leaf Champion. That would be unfortunate. But, yep, this is exactly what I'm hoping for. Ooh, baby, I love you way. I wanna be with you night and day. Ooh, baby, you're gonna cry when you die. That's the good feels right there. That feeling is heaven. When Alright, that was weird. When you just destroy all of their hopes and dreams. Immortal Sun is nice. I am very likely to sack Fountain at the end of the turn. I don't think I need as much life gain against a mono green deck that's not really doing anything. I've been watching too much RT game. Let's see this. So I have Cleansing Nova. Next turn, potentially I'll have Immortal Sun. I have like these things active, and if I don't play them, I can just try and draw a card. Wow, really? Alright, I'm drawing a card. Like, if you're not doing anything, I'm drawing. Oh, dude, heck yeah, bud. Gonna go and play this here Immortal Sun. Oh, yeah, this is nice. This is how you play Magic right here. Against a player who isn't doing anything. I assume they have... Oh, no, didn't have a way to remove that. It's a really unfortunate card you have there. Yeah. Sorry about this. Almost heaven. West Virginia. Blue Ridge Mountains. Shenandoah River. Life is old there, older than the trees, younger than the mountains, blowing like a breeze. Country road, take me home. And another card, thank you very much. Yeah, I've been watching way too much RT Game. Destroy things in City Skylines. Just this card blows everything up. Yep, just drawing. Oh, Profane Procession. Don't mind if I do. Go play this tapped. Go play out this Profane Procession, and now my opponent is kind of screwed. Yeah, very unfortunate. I assume they have like Galta and Gigantosaur or something. I'm just gonna Moment of Craving that. I'm not gonna use any other good cards on it. But opponent, if you just have like big creatures, you're screwed. Opponent. Oh gosh. Gotta check if I've disconnected. Nope. I am still on Reddit. My opponent holds a little bit of soul. Thank you. I'm just gonna keep drawing some cards. Keep drawing lands. It's hilariously unfortunate. Do need to kill my opponent at some point. Sure. Could steal that Jade Light if I wanted to. But look, it's a Nullhide Ferox. I could steal that. Am I just gonna Mortify this? Yeah, probably. I want to save Profane Processions for something like more important. The dude's playing Mono Green, so I assume he's not running too many important enchantments. Like, they could be running Prodigious Growth, but I don't really care about that, so... Yeah. Alright, cool. We're gonna go ahead and Captive Audience. And then next turn we can Banefire the crap out of them. Isn't that lovely? Dude, go to 4. Do it. Oh, maybe he has some... No, he would have played Nullhide Ferox. Yeah, no matter what he does, he's not in a great spot. How many men? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So I can do Banefire for 11. Alright, makes sense. Oh yeah, he had Blanchwood armor. Unfortunate for you, my friend. Let me go and steal this, thanks. It's a big yoinks from me, thank you. Never mind, I didn't do math. Fine, I'll kill it. I should have used Vraska's Contempt, and it's fine. Hey look, it's a treasure map. Hey look, it's another captive audience. I'm gonna play a treasure map. Now my opponent has to choose either give me a bunch of zombies, in which case you die, or your life will become 4, in which case you die. Oh look, it's a Carnage Tyrant. Candlejack. No, he didn't let me kill him with Banefire. You didn't know I had it in my hand. Ah, silver 1. Sweet, we're gonna be gold soon. Oops, I hit my mic. Is the time at 29? Yeah, 29, we'll play another game. Why not? Buffett. Wait. What can I do to deserve all of you? Why do you hate me? Oh, I feel like every video there's at least one of these where I'm just like, I have no idea I have completely no idea if I should keep this. So, let me know in the comments down below if you would keep this. Oh, man. The greed. The total greed. We're going second. We're going second. We have double Fountain. Oh, fudge. I mean, the mana base is fine. We do have Mortify, which is helpful. But the problem with gates is mostly that they take forever. It's not gates! It isn't gates! Glory be! It's not actually gates. My proverbial prayers have been answered. Okay, it's just Izzet. That's fine. Sure. This pays for my Sacred Foundry. And I can Mortify end of turn. Never mind, I'll just play this. And once again, I Mortify end of turn. And if my opponent wants to do something about it, I'll Contempt it. Oh, look, it's a Crackling Drake. I want to save my Vraska's Contempts for Phoenixes. Also, I could draw a Ixalan's Binding. So an Ixalan's Binding would be great against this. Boop, boop. Star of Extinction. That's fine. I think what I'm going to do is play this tapped. I mean, they're at 0 right now. I'm not too worried about that damage. I think I'm going to play this tapped and then activate. I'm going to activate Fountain of Renewal. End of 10. Well, crikey, you just played it out. Just like that. No shenanigans here. I don't know what the hell I'm doing. I'm offending so many people. It's fine. I make fun of everyone equally. Because I hate everyone. Captive Audience. That's not what I asked for. That's what I asked for. Also, bye. You're not getting that back. 4 cards in hands. A 0/4 Drake. Seems good to me, mate. No AwwIMissedIt? Even better. Ooh, a Trove of Temptation. Don't mind if I do. I assume my opponent's going to counter this, but if they don't, it's a thumbs up for me, bud. Sweet. Next turn I can go on a killing spree if I draw a land. If not, I have Immortal Sun. Everything's cash. By the way, I'm bringing back So Cash. Why? Oh, right. It could have been that word that I'm looking for. That I can't think of right now. The draw spell. What the hell is it? It's Charter Course. I could see it in my brain. I could see the art in my brain. I was just like, I don't know what this is. Yeah, that card, not useful. I don't play creatures. What am I? Some sort of... I didn't expect that. So I could Captive Audience, or I could Star of Extinction. I think I would rather Captive Audience, honestly. Let's go with blue for the BM. Oh, I'm so dumb. When they attack me with the 0/4, I totally forgot that they have to attack me. Oh, they discard their hand, eh? Got rid of Banefire, Lava Coil. Getting back Banefire, sure, that's fine. I know that's never gonna matter. So next, oh, right, they didn't get on the first one, so they can get a sorcery. How much do they have for Banefire? I think I have to blow up all the lands, or all of the artifacts and enchantments, because I'd like to not die. I'd like to draw Mortify, actually. Mortify would be great. Mortify would be great. It's not Mortify. Fudge. If I use Fountain of Renewal, I can still pay for Cleansing Nova. So I'm going to go ahead and Fountain of Renewal here and see if I can draw Mortify. Ixalan's Binding, I can play it. I can play it, yes. And I know my opponent's hand perfectly. Okay, wait, first of all, that's fine. I was going to consider whether or not I wanted to use a treasure. I guess I didn't need a treasure anyway. Okay, that is incredibly helpful. So now my opponent either has to go to 4 or give me a bunch of zombies. They're going to 4. Okay. I don't have my Banefires just yet. I should still live. Right, how much do they have? They have 5, 8, 9. It's technically close, and they're going for it now. I guess they just assume that I don't have access to removal. Cleansing Nova. Profane Procession. Profane Procession cost me 2. I'm trying to figure out... They don't have any Phoenixes in here. And I know this is the only card they have, so they would need to... Is Tormenting Voice an additional cost? Yeah, okay. So I don't think there's any way that they could kill me if I kill Crackling Drake. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to Cleansing Nova for creatures. And then just play this. I can't activate it yet. But my thought is that they shouldn't be able to kill me. Because this is the only card they have, and I don't think there's any cards right now that could just... Yeah, that could draw them out of it. Maybe... Let's see. They could maybe have had Chemist's Insight into Crackling Drake Maximize Velocity. But, I mean, that would have been a very specific thing, and they would have had to have a very specific build. So, let us go and buy some packs, as always. Let's get some Ixalan and Ixalan. Why am I getting Ixalan? It's because I essentially have all of the cards from the Ravnica sets. They just become gems. It's always gems. Alright, and decks. And now I'm going to talk really briefly about the sideboard for this deck. So, this sideboard is a combination of cards that I've seen other lists play that I'm not, and cards that I think are just actually good sideboard cards. So, for example, Duress, if you're worried about super heavy control, for example, maybe even bring this against Gates, honestly. Duress is fantastic for you. Dawn of Hope, I don't really like. I think Aliantrazi was playing a version with Dawn of Hope and like several other creatures, and I think that's a better version if you are looking towards not blowing up the world as much. But when I get a chance to play Star of Extinction, I'm playing Star. So Dawn of Hope, not great in my opinion, just because it feels superfluous, at least in the main board. Now, you could definitely bring it in the sideboard against control, because this does allow you to put on a little bit more pressure than you otherwise would, considering the majority of your win conditions are super late in the game. But I do think there are better cards to bring it against control that apply pressure. Cast Down, I talked about during the main game. Sorcerer Spyglass, if there are Planeswalkers that you don't want to deal with, you can bring this in, but the fact that you have a decent number of ways to kill the main deck, you don't really need it. Thematic Compass is another card I've seen some people play. I do think this card is a little bit slower than is worth in this deck, because I would rather just play Trove on turn 4 than play Thematic Compass on 2 and then activate it, taking up my whole turn on 3 to get a land that goes in my hand, etc., etc. So I don't love Thematic Compass. Cry talked about. Kaya, if you think you're going to be playing against nothing but Sultai, she's okay. Otherwise, not the best. But Evil, it's removable, but it does have double black, and sometimes you're going to be in situations where that does hurt you. And the fact that it doesn't hit enchantments is kind of annoying, because a lot of the time you don't care about artifacts, right? You care more about creatures, planeswalkers, and enchantments. And even though this does hit creatures and planeswalkers, we already have something that does that in Vraska's Contempt. Settle the Wreckage is fine, is good. It is different than Kaya's Wrath. I do prefer Kaya's Wrath, just because of the fact that it's less obvious and it's something that I can just use my turn for anyway, than Settle the Wreckage, and it always gets all of the creatures that, you know, can be got by it. Settle the Wreckage, people can play around it, people have been playing around it, so it's on the... You can play it if you don't have Kaya's Wrath, but I still think that Kaya's Wrath is a little bit better. Karn, I mean, look, he's a good card, he draws cards, he makes creatures. Since we run so many treasure tokens, the Karn structs are pretty good, actually. So my suggestion is have this in the sideboard against control, because this is a really good threat that you can play early on that just frustrates the hell out of your opponent, gives you card advantage to keep up with your control opponent, so very helpful. Lyra, this, I think, was also in Antrazi's more creature-focused build, and it's good, you know, it draws cards and things, but we just run so many board wipes that we would have to, like, remove them, and in the games where we want the life gain from Lyra are the games where we want the board wipes too, so I just didn't love it. Elders Reborn, helpful against mid-range control. You could put this in the sideboard. I don't think it's the best, just because of the fact that, you know, we have many other things to do against control, but it's a good card. It's also technically a budget option because it is only an uncommon, so. Angrath the Flame Chained. I think this is the card that you want to bring in against control. Honestly, I think like Duress, Karn, and Angrath are like the cards that you want for your control package out of the side. I've talked about Angrath pretty recently, but being able to just force your opponent to discard and lose 2 is fantastic. Being able to steal, potentially steal, one of their like late game creatures is fantastic. And since they're a control deck, they're going to be going through their library really quickly, right? Putting a bunch of things in the graveyard, casting a bunch of spells. So his ultimate is game ending, right? So I think Angrath is fantastic in this style of deck. It should be noted that you are going to want to take out your Star of Extinctions against control anyway, so that's why these Planeswalkers are so much better. It is something to note on whether or not you take out the Immortal Sun, because of the fact that they would shut down, or it would shut down your Angrath and your Karns, but I think they can coexist together because you're probably only going to be bringing between 4 and 6 Planeswalkers in, and your Immortal Sun is still only going to be a 2 of. So it's something that you have to consider when deciding, what's going to be in your main deck, what's going to be in your sideboard, whether or not you take that out against a deck that is control. For what it's worth, not all control decks right now are running a bunch of Planeswalkers, so you can theoretically just not have Immortal Sun when you bring these in. So Ethereal Absolution, I just like the card, and whenever I can talk about it, I'm going to talk about it. It exiles cards. It's like, for that reason, it's kind of better than Kaya against the Sultai decks, in that the Sultai decks typically, as long as you have your board wipes, aren't going to be killing you quickly. The Sultai decks are going to try to grind you out. And the way they do this is being able to essentially abuse their graveyard with things like Find. So being able to play Ethereal Absolution not only makes their creature smaller, which is fantastic, it essentially kills all of their Explore creatures as soon as they enter. The Explore still triggers, so, Wild Growth Walker still gets larger and things like that, but it immediately destroys their creatures, and it allows you to just exile their stuff to make your own threats, which is very helpful in a deck like that, where you just need to have just maximum value. Rakdos the Showstopper. I mean, it's a YOLO card. If you want to play a YOLO card, this is the card to play in this exact deck. So that was the video. I would like to, of course, thank my lovely patrons, especially Salamander and Zaraga, for their continued support. If you'd like to join them in supporting the channel, you'll find links to that down in the description below, along with links to my Discord server, where we chat and play games, and links to the Aetherhub account, where I host all my decks, and links to Tyler Walpole, a Magic Artist's Twitch and sale page. He is not paying me to do this. I actually asked him if I could, because he makes cool cards. I know he did the art for Wilderness Reclamation. It's fine. He does other cool art too, and he's like making a comic, and he's drawing the D&D characters for the D&D show I'm in with Merchant. And it's really cool. He did some series, and she looks rad. So I'm super looking forward to seeing Vicaru in his style. And yeah, I do hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, go and tap that like button, add a subscription to Mana Pool, cast a comment to the comment section down below, and pass the turn and the video to your friends. And until next time, all will be one.